So for today's video, I'm going to be recreating a set that I did towards the beginning of my YouTube channel. So this was back in like 2022. Is this really fun fall set? So I'm going to use some of these fall leaf sequins. In the original set, I used that second container of leaves because that was all that I had. But now I have this other container of leaves that has like hollow leaves and like, I guess like chameleon leaves because they have the dual color shift on them. Yeah, that would be more chameleon and not iridescent. I was gonna say they were iridescent, but no, that's more like clear with like different colored reflex. Yeah, these are more like chameleon kind of leaves because they switch between different colors. So I'm just using the leaves out of those first 3 sections there because I wanted to have them look like the color changing leaves on the trees during the fall. And these 3 colors here definitely gave that effect. I know they don't really look like it from this angle, but I do show you later like what they look like when you see them from different angles, and you can see how they change colors, and it really does give that like color changing leaf fall kind of look. So I just take some base coat, apply that to the nail, and then I stick the leaves on, and then I use my stamper and my gooseneck lamp to flash cure these on. I use the stamper to smush them down so they lay flat on the nail because they do kind of stick up. Here you can kind of see that color shift between the different ones, and it definitely gives that like color changing leaf look. But anyhow, I use the stamper to smush them down on the nail so they're not sticking up, because they do stick up off the nail if you just set them on there. In the original video, I just left them like that. I didn't try to smush them down at all because I was going to encapsulate them, and I knew I was going to encapsulate them. So I wasn't really worried about them sticking up because they were going to get covered up when I like sculpted out the nail. And some of them did get filed down a little bit, but it really wasn't that big of a deal in that one because it was just like little corners of it. But because I was doing these on full cover nails and like doing them like they were press-ons, I was trying to avoid having to do any encapsulation because I hate doing encapsulation on press-on nails. It's really annoying, and then like having to file press-on nails, I hate doing it, and I just hate having to do encapsulation on press-on nails. I'd rather just do it on an actual person. It's a lot easier to do it on an actual person versus doing it on a press-on nail. But yeah, I ended up having to do encapsulation on these because it still didn't work out very well. But yeah, so I'm just sticking those on, and I'm working in sections with this to make sure that like it all gets covered. And then sometimes with the stamper, the leaves do like move around a little bit. So after I got those on, I did go in and like fill in some of those little empty patches that were left. I also went in and trimmed off any of the excess around the edges from leaves hanging off the nail as best as I could. Anything else that was left got filed off later on, but here I am just patching in some of those little holes, and I did it the same way. I added some base coat, applied the leaf, used my stamper and gooseneck lamp, and then once I was done with that whole process, I stuck the nail back in my full size lamp to cure for a full 60 seconds. And then I did the entire nail on the ring nail with the leaves, and then for the middle nail I did a French tip kind of situation with the leaves. I think I did it on the middle. I think these are the middle and the ring nails. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it is though. So yeah, the middle nail is, the leaves are in like a French tip kind of pattern, and then this is the full leaf nail. And here I'm just taking my rubber base from LGN because I was hoping I could apply this and it would seal those leaves in and smooth everything out and make it even. And it worked pretty well, but it was still a little lumpy and there were still some leaves sticking out and sticking up, and I didn't want that. So like I said, I ended up having to do some encapsulation. I think I used the Jinbei Long Run Builder Gel for this, just because I had a little bit left of it, and I don't have enough to do like a full set on it or anything. But here you can see it is pretty flat, but you can see in some areas it is kind of lumpy and some of those leaves are sticking out a little more. And I probably could have just gone in and did a little bit of filing, but I didn't want to do too much filing because I didn't want to file too much into the leaves. So I just went ahead and decided to encapsulate, which made these two nails so thick and chunky compared to the other nails, because these are the Ombre sculpted extra long or extra long, I don't know, whatever, full cover tips. So doing this is so unnecessary with these kind of tips. You don't really, like with the Ombre ones, at least these sculpted ones, you don't need to add any kind of builder gel or anything to add any kind of strength to them. And you especially, like, encapsulating on them is just, I just hate encapsulating on any kind of press-on nail, even if it is those super thin, cheap, really easy to bend nail full cover tips. It's just annoying because it's a pain in the butt, and when filing press-on nails is so difficult, at least for me. I know there's press-on nail artists out there that they'll be filing these tips all the time, and they make, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's difficult for them too, but they make it look so easy, and I'm like, yeah, no, I hate it. I tried not to have to do all of that, so I don't ever add like any builder gel or rubber base or any of that to any full cover tips, because I'm like, I'm not about to start have to file any of this because it's annoying. But to encapsulate them, I'm just basically doing it how I would if I were to do it on myself. I do my slip layer, and then I take a bigger glob and float that on top, and then I hold it upside down to try and let gravity do its thing and pull that gel towards the middle of the nail, so it wasn't like pooling on the sides of the nails, and it was like more in the middle, so I could hopefully not have to do too much filing, because like I said, I hate filing press on nails. But anyhow, the whole reason why I am actually doing this set is because I have a TikTok of me doing the original. Well, I have a few TikToks because I broke down the original tutorial in a couple videos to post on TikTok. because there was like, when I posted them, there was the time limit, like you could only do 1 minute, so I had to like break down my tutorials. Now I could just post it all at once. I still do try to keep it under 1 minute though, or like at 1 minute, because then you less music options. Anyhow, after I cured that for 60 seconds, I just wipe it off with some alcohol to remove the sticky layer before I go in and file. And I filed all these with my e-file, and I used a sanding band for all the filing because I really didn't have to do too much of it. I think I used a 180 grit sanding band for it, or did I use the 80? No, I'm pretty sure I used the 180 for it. So here I am doing the filing, doing a great job staying in frame. I do fix that though. I realized I wasn't in frame and I like moved so I was in frame. But anyhow, like I was saying, I have this video, I have a tutorial of this on TikTok, and it goes crazy on TikTok. It has over 20,000 views right now and like over 100 likes, 80 something saves or something like that. And every day there's more likes and views and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what it is about this set, but people love it over on TikTok, especially during the fall. Like, there are people that see it throughout the entire year and are liking it and commenting on it and saving it and everything. But then when fall comes around, it really picks up. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's a decent set, but I don't know. I have other sets that are way better than this one, in my opinion, and they don't get nearly as many views. And I'm like, what? I don't know. But I wanted to redo this so I could do a new tutorial to post on TikTok, because that one, the quality of that video, first of all, is so bad. Also, there's a lot that's like kind of cut out of it, and I know a lot of people have questions on it, like they've asked, and I've answered them as best as I could, because sometimes, you know, it gets a little hard to type out and explain what I'm doing. But I wanted to just update it and give a new tutorial for the people on TikTok. Hopefully, you know, they'll, if they've seen that first one that I did, they'll see this one, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to update it, and I don't know, I guess do a better tutorial, because if you go back and look at like my TikTok tutorials, they were not that great. I mean, they're still, I guess, not that great either, but I don't know. I just wanted to give a little update on that. Also, I really like recreating my own sets, because then I get to see, like, you know, the improvement over the years. Like I said, this was done back in 2022, so it's been 3 years since I've done this set, and I was a little curious to see how I could do this again. I was originally hoping to do this on myself, but I didn't do my nails in September because I was still filming Halloween videos, and I needed to not have nails on so I could like put them on for finishing shots and stuff. So I didn't do my nails in September, and then I just did my nails a couple weeks ago for Halloween, and I'm not taking these off until like the end of November, because I leave my nails on for about a month. So I don't get the opportunity to do fall nails on myself this year, which is really upsetting for me, because this is a set that I feel like would have ended up being a whole lot better if I could have done it on myself versus doing it on these press-ons, specifically because of these stupid encapsulated nails. They did not turn out as well as they could have, as well as they should have. They're low-key a hot mess, and they ended up being super lumpy after. I mean, they're not super lumpy, but they are kind of lumpy after filing them. Like, before I filed them, they were pretty even and smooth, and then after I filed them, they ended up lumpy, and the more I tried to fix it, the more lumpy they got. And so eventually I just gave up on filing them. You can kind of see over on the side of the nail that they're lumpy on the sides, and like I said, the more I filed, the worse it got, and I eventually just gave up. And they are quite thick, quite chunky, because I added that extra layer on there that really shouldn't be added on there, but you know, it is what it is. So for the rest of the nails, I went in with, I think this is Cuffing Season from Ballpit, and I think I only did 2 coats of this. I could have potentially done 3 coats, but I'm pretty sure I only did 2 coats of this, and I cured each coat for 60 seconds. And then for this middle nail, I decided to put this nude color on what would be the nail bed area. In the original, I left it clear, and I really liked how it looked clear. I don't really like how it looks on this set here with the nude, just because I did it after I put the leaves on and after all the filing and everything. I think if I would have done the nail bed first and then put the leaves on around that, it would have looked a lot better. Like, it just looks, it doesn't look as good as the other French tips that I did. It looks a little wide and a little off because I did it all after adding on those leaves, and I feel like in order to have it match up to the other French tips, I needed to do that part first. But that was kind of an afterthought. I wasn't originally going to apply the nude to that nail. I was just going to leave it clear like I did in the original, but I don't know, for some reason I felt like adding the nude for this one. And then I went in and wiped all of them off with some alcohol to remove the sticky layer. Now I'm going in with Pure Nature from Madam Glam. I do have a discount code with Madam Glam if you're ever interested in purchasing anything from Madam Glam and you want to save a little bit of money. All that information is down in the description below. But anyhow, I really love this color. It's this really pretty green color, and I think it's perfect for fall. I'm really sad though because I don't think they have this color anymore, and I really love this color. if I knew that they were going to be getting rid of this color, because I'm pretty sure it's not on the website. At least the last time I used this and I tried to link it below, it wasn't on there. Maybe it was out of stock. I don't know. But I really like this color. It's so pretty. Anyhow, I'm just going in on this leaf nail here, and I'm outlining the French tip area. And I do the smile line like normal, and then I outline the like free edge like normal. But on the sides, if I'm doing an outline on a nail like this, I will make the sides quite thick, just so you can see that outline from the top. Otherwise, I mean, you can see right there, you can't even tell that there's anything there. So if you want to be able to see your outline on the side from the top, you do have to make it quite a bit thicker than what you normally would do, just so you can see it. I didn't go super thick with it on this one. I think on the first one I went thicker. Maybe, if I'm remembering correctly, I think I did do that line a lot thicker because I really wanted to be able to see it from like the top of the nail, and not just like, you know, if you're looking at the nail from the side. But like the smile line and the free edge, I just did it like how I normally would do it, like the normal thickness that I would do. Whereas on the sides, I did make them thicker so I could see from, you know, like a bird's eye view. I could see it from that angle. I only did one coat of that, and then I cured it for 60 seconds. Now on all the other nude nails, I'm doing... Oh, I'm sorry. I've done like 4 voiceovers in a row. This is like the 5th one, and my throat is like hurting so bad right now. What was I saying? I'm doing French tips on all 3 of these other nude nails. So I'm just going in right now and like outlining or like doing the smile line. You can barely see what I'm doing on camera, because I'm just like doing the basic line there to get it on there, and then I will like fill in a little bit, kind of creating a buffer between the like French tip part and the nail bed part, so when I go in with the brush from the bottle, I don't mess up and get any polish on the nail bed area. So I'm just doing the French tip with that. I did only do 1 coat of that, and once I got all the French tips done, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. In the original set, I did orange. I don't even think I have the orange anymore that I used for that. I think I used like a Savvyland color for that. And I actually got rid of all of those. I had like a bunch of Savvyland Model 1 Beetles polishes, like the cheaper ones that you could buy off of Amazon. But since growing my collection with like Madame Glam, Nail Reserve, Ballpit, Nails by Dev, I have stopped using those other brands because now that I've used like these higher quality brands, I just did not like these other ones at all, or like as much as I did when I first started using them, and they weren't getting used. So I did actually packed them all up in a box, and I told my mom to post them on one of her like Facebook groups that she's a part of, that's like a buy nothing group or something, to see if anybody wanted them, because I wasn't getting any use out of them and they were just sitting there. But anyhow, yeah, I did use an orange the last time because, like, you know, orange is a fall color, and I don't know, I'm not really a huge fan of orange. I don't really like green either, but I really like this green, and I really wanted to use it because I had just recently used it for something. I think on one of my Halloween sets, maybe. I don't know. Or one of the sets that I did before Halloween. I don't know. I used this color recently, and I forgot how much I love this color. And I really wanted to use it again, and I thought this would be a really good set to use it for. I thought it would look really good, and it is a really good fall color. I want to say this is from one of their fall collections. I think it was from the same collection that those two blues I used for the denim nails on my scarecrow. I think those all three came together. Anyhow, after getting the French tips done, I applied base coat onto the French tip part because I'm going to add on some gold foil. And I'm just going to put the gold foil on like the corners, or on two of the corners, like across from each other. So this top, what is that, the left corner of the French tip, and then the bottom right corner, and just kind of place it on however I feel like, kind of like following the corner a little bit, but also kind of like rounding it out a little bit, if that makes any sense. And whenever I do gold leaf, which I don't do often, or gold foil, whatever you want to call it, I don't use this often because I hate using it because it's so light and it flies everywhere, and it's really not that easy to clean up. Like, it's kind of a pain to clean up. I'd rather use chrome powder than foil flakes like this because it's easy to clean up the chrome. I just take a cotton ball with some acetone and wipe it up, and it comes up easy. I mean, I do that with the foil too, but it takes a bit longer because it has to break into a million little pieces first before it cleans up, and then even then it still doesn't fully clean up, which is really annoying. But anyhow, whenever I do use these foils like this, or these flakes, whatever you want to call them, I will take like a big chunk of them and just set it on the nail and then break it up on the nail instead of trying to break it up in the jar, because it's a lot easier and it's already stuck down onto the nail, so it's not going to be flying all over the place. So I'll just take a chunk of it, or because sometimes they're not fully broken down, they are still in pretty big chunks in these jars, so you can take like a chunk of it and stick it on and then break it up on the nail with like your tweezers, or if you're using a dotting tool or something. I personally like to use some really pointy, sharp tweezers like this to do the foils, because it makes it a lot easier to break it up with it, and you just like poke it and then like scrape it around and it'll break up. Super easy. And like I said, it's already stuck down into the gel, so it's not going to be flying all over the place as you break it up, whereas if you break it up in the jar, then you're going to have gold flakes flying all over the place, which is really annoying. And then once I get the little gold flakes how I want them, I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And now I'm taking my NAILZ by Dev matte top coat and top coating all of the nails. You don't have to worry about the gold flakes coming off. They're stuck down in the base coat and cured on, so you shouldn't have any fallout. I just go ahead and apply this to all the nails, and then I do cure for 60 seconds. The original I did do matte. I don't remember the reasoning behind doing it matte. I think that might have been the phase that I was in where I was really liking clear nails being matte, because it gave like this frosted glass type of look, and I was really liking it then. I mean, I still really like that like frosted glass type of look. That would actually be really cool to do for like a stained glass set. Instead of doing it shiny, to do it matte. I might have to do that now that I think about it. Anyhow, so yeah, I'm just going in with the matte top coat because that's what I did originally. I do think they would look really good being shiny as well, because as you can see here, before they're cured, they look really nice like this. But I wanted to stick with how they originally looked with the matte and keep that like frosted glass kind of look. And like I always say with the Nails by Dev matte top coat, it is a wipe off top coat, so you do have to wipe the nails off with some alcohol to remove the sticky layer and to get the matte effect. And this is the finished result. I really like this set. I think it looks really cool. I did really like the original set too, but I like the green way more than I like the orange. I also like these leaves that I used a lot better than the original leaves as well, but I did not have these leaves then. Like, this wasn't the kind of leaves that were popular then. It was like just the plain solid normal colored leaves, and not these fun like chameleon color shift hollow iridescent leaves. But I do really like the effect that they give. They definitely give that like color change, season change type of look, because you have the green and it shifts to like an orange, and then like you have the ones that are shifting between like orange and gold, and like the pink and the yellow. I don't know, it just looks so cool, and I feel like it looks a lot better than the original. Overall, I think this set looks a lot better than the original. I am still annoyed with the whole encapsulation situation, how those nails are thick and chunky and a little lumpy, but like I said, it is what it is. What was I gonna say? I don't even remember what I was gonna say. But here they are out in the sunlight. This is like how they look in person, and I think they look so good. I think the gold looks way better on the green than it did on the orange. I definitely like this version of this set a whole lot better than the original. Like, the colors just look better all together. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.